Oh, hey, man.
Hey!
At the Lindsay Lewis.
Oh, at Kevin Harron.
Welcome to Vintage Podcast.
Oddly enough, at Vintage Podcast.
I'm trying to fix this chair as we do it. Oh,
we're professionals here, folks.
Oh yeah, welcome to Vintage, guys. It's been a wild couple of weeks of just WWE action.
Yeah, it has been non-stop thrill rides. Left, right, center. Pay-per-views.
After pay-per-views,
Yeah.
after pay-per-views, after special attraction events.
Yeah.
I don't know how many pay-per-views they had, but the most important fact is the cast of Entourage was on Raw this week. And
dude.
I gotta say, I don't know about you, I actually legitimately was a fan. It's one of my favorite shows, Entourage. But at the same time, I get why fans frown upon these celebrity guest appearances.
Yeah.
You know, and also like Canadian actor Stephen Amell was on the show too. So they had so it's like, you know what I mean? It's also, to be fair, it's the last show ever in Nassau Coliseum. So anyone in that area or shooting that area will not be a part of history.
No Jeremy Piven, though.
No Jeremy Piven. I did like the shot that Johnny Drama gave to him saying Summerfest. I like how they reference it in a playful way. But this Raw was in order to do this Raw, was then hyping the next pay-per-view, which we're going to be talking about and predicting today.
That is correct.
Which pay-per-view is that, Kevin?
That would be the Chamber of Elimination, or as regular people would say, is Elimination. I'm trying. God,
it has a title.
Elimination Chamber, sir.
Elimination Chamber, which was taken away this year, usually is an event every February, right? A break before WrestleMania.
Yeah, because they said, this isn't a practical pay-per-view to have. The structure is crazy. We're going to take away the Elimination Chamber. And less than 8 months later, they're like, hey, we're going to have the Elimination Chamber.
It was very much like they did with King of the Ring, right?
Yeah. So I understand the reasons why. I think they just wanted to shift around the time frame for it and to find, maybe like a better venue for...
I think those are the two exact things. It's the venues, and also I think it was hurting their storytelling for WrestleMania. Yeah. And for them, that's their most important time of the year. So I think that's the two reasons only why they do it. The only other thing, the negative to this is, and at the same time it's a positive for WWE Network, is they kind of just like, if you're gonna have the EC Championship, just making it. I'm going off your note off the top. No, if you're gonna have the Elimination Chamber, why not give notice? But at the same time, I'm gonna quickly touch on Payback. That pay-per-view card we weren't all that excited about. We both watched it, right? And I thought it was, although it was very predictable. Yeah. Other than the pre-show matches.
I'm fairly certain we called almost every match.
We called every match that was advertised.
Yeah.
Because one of them, Stardust versus R-Truth, was not, whether it was just we're low on time, so we have 10 minutes to fill.
We fudged up a little bit on the pre-show, but...
Did we fudge up or did they? That's my sell to watching. No, but it was a surprisingly watchable pay-per-view.
It really was,
Was it spectacular and will I watch it again? I don't know, but for what I thought it might be or what you're going to get, it was a slightly enjoyable show. Yeah. Which leads me to believe that, especially because I think a lot of these matches on Elimination Chamber look pretty exciting, so I'm actually if you had told me without knowing these scenarios, hey, they're going to throw a random pay-per-view with 2.5 weeks notice, it's going to be Elimination Chamber and it's only on the network, is this a good idea? And I would have instantly said no, but it actually feels like it's going to be a pretty exciting show.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it.
Should we crack some skulls and get into it?
I think so, yeah.
I guess.
Let's go through the preview, I guess, for the Elimination Chamber, then we can touch on the last pay-per-view that was less than 2 weeks ago.
We had Payback, and we had NXT Unstoppable, which we'll probably touch on in a couple minutes. Yeah, and we have the newly returned, freshly returned Elimination Chamber. Okay. So before we get into the pay-per-view, you want to talk about the pre-show bit, I guess?
The pre-show, it
is going to be, right now there's no match advertised, but it's going to be Daniel Bryan on Miz TV. Yeah. So the returning Miz... So for all you guys who missed him, because I think I'm one of the only ones who actually is I'm not a huge Miz fan, but I think I'm one of the people I get him. I think I see money and potential in him.
Yeah, I like the Miz because that means that sometimes his dad will be around, and I'm a big fan of Miz's dad.
Kevin sent me the YouTube link every once in a while. I think it's you, but it's that video of just the Titantron video of the Miz's dad, and it's just generic rock music, and it's so funny.
Oh, it's awesome.
And he doesn't sell well at all.
And it's all it's the Miz's dad with the combination of the Miz's mom just being sort of always concerned, and Miz's dad just does not care.
Yeah, like, his dad, like...
He's sort of indifferent to everything.
And his dad, like, I don't know his situation or anything, but he looks, like, disheveled, and, like, he's just there to support his son, and I respect that, and that's great for family.
Yeah.
But it just looks like a guy is kind of like, oh, I'm there, and they're like, hey, you're going to be on TV, just act like you're upset that your son, or get worried about your son being beaten up by Randy Orton. It's kind of like that. And it's great.
He just sort of looks like he got to the 80s and just said, I'm good. You know, and like sort of like Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force,
which reference some of you might get. I do
okay.
Not at all.
It's funny, I assure you.
But anyway, The Miz is returning, so it's a big return, a must-see pre-show TV. He's the most must-see pre-show guy, I think, because like WrestleManias, like the earlier shows, he was always defending. So like, he is the pre-show, and I think he's one of those guys that he's good enough, especially up on the mic, that he can deliver. And his special guest is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, which
later in that night, the first ever Intercontinental Elimination Chamber match will happen. What do you think might happen on this segment? If you had to make a guess, do you think, is it just a filler for him going like, who do you think will win, or do you think he's building up to promote a DVD/Tough Enough? Or a bit of all of those?
I think he's going to hype the match a little bit. He's going to give a prediction of who he thinks is going to win. Kind of just build up what's going to be happening later in the night. But I think a lot of it's going to be focused around Tough Enough.
And because he has a DVD or something on the network, so I think those are... And Miz will also promote the Marine, I hope. Because I think it's funny whenever he promotes it. If a heel promotes a movie, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
You know what, I'm going to kind of segue... Let's just talk about this match, because I actually think this might happen in this, is the IC title Elimination Chamber match. Do you think that maybe the contestants will come down? Because, breaking news, if you haven't heard, I'm sure you have, if you're a wrestling fan, one of the participants, Rusev, Alexander Rusev, to me still, he has an injury, and he most likely will not be a part of this pay-per-view. He's been pulled from wrestling events this weekend. So first off, do you think they'll announce who's going to be a part of this match before the pay-per-view, or do you think maybe they'll do it on the pre-show or during the match? Because there's been rumors that maybe it'll be someone like Bray Wyatt, who isn't listed for a match.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the pre-show segment / do you think any of the participants will come down and kind of like push away, and then, because they can beat up Miz, they can't beat up Bryan because he's injured and all that, but do you think something like that might happen?
I don't think they're going to be in the pre-show.
Because it is a hype show, right? So it is a hype show, and the thing is, if you're on the fence about this 2-week pay-per-view, I mean, if you have the network, you're going to watch it, right?
Like I said, I mean, I really think they're going to be pushing Tough Enough pretty hard. I mean, because
they got like 2-3 weeks until it airs, right?
And that's something that I think they're really going to want people to see. They know that people are going to watch the Daniel Bryan DVD when it comes out, like illegally or through the network or what have you, like, because he's over, people are going to watch it. But Tough Enough, I think, sort of has had a bit of a sordid past, like
their last winner didn't even I don't know what happened to after. I just know that he won and was supposed to eventually build up in the ranks, and then he never got to Raw or even NXT.
I think Stone Cold shook his hand, and then he was never
Make him famous, kid. And he did the opposite.
He was never seen from again.
Not even referenced.
No,
they just say, "Hey, Tough Enough's back."
Yeah. He was like Poochie, the dog. He just went back to his home planet, and that was...
Because I vaguely remember the two guys. His name was Andy, and then there was another guy. He was a little shorter, but he was better, more heelless, and he nothing happened with him either. And there was one other contestant that they really saw potential in, but he got gassed whenever he ran around. But there wasn't a whole lot. The season was more like, hey, we have Stone Cold. The show's back after so many years. Yeah. So now it's let's get it hyped again, and it's we have USA Network, and we also have it on the network and stuff like that.
And really, I mean, I know there's been a couple people that have come from Tough Enough, but
maybe one of the best Royal Rumble moments ever.
I was going to say, when you think of Tough Enough winners or people that have come from Tough Enough to be on the roster, you think Maven. And, yes, he had a great moment where he eliminated The Undertaker, but that's really it. That's all he did that entire time.
He was a part of... They were trying with that, that Triple H versus the regime of guys like Benoit and Randy Orton and Jericho and Maven. So he had stuff, but so...
He was just kind of there, though.
With NXT before it became that side brand, when they did it as that sort of Tough Enough show, if it's more branded like that, they might find potential. But, I mean, the record for the last Tough Enough, if we're going to go off of that, it's not good. So Daniel Bryan's going to talk about that. We'll probably get into Tough Enough. Have you guys submitted a video? Kevin, do you want to submit? You still have 2 weeks to submit. Do you want to be a part of Tough Enough? Quick question.
I'm going to have to work on my glutes, I think, first.
You have 2 weeks.
Well,
you just got fresh ink on your arm. Show you.
Oh, that's yes.
So the pain will heal, and why not become like the next Canadian Tough Enough?
Yeah,
or the first ever Canadian Tough Enough winner.
Well, winner. It could happen.
It could happen if you try.
I am growing my hair out too, so I'm gonna have
Rick style,
I'm gonna have like a heel
demeanor
mullet soon.
You're getting married soon. I don't know if that haircut will suit.
No. I'm gonna have like a Nasty Boys haircut for the wedding.
Knobs and Sags.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like Brian Knobs.
They were at the convention where I talked to Hacksaw and we almost got them, but imagine we talked to them, that'd be cool. But yeah, no. So Tough Enough, we'll get into that more. So if you guys have a video, or if you think it'd be a comical idea for him to pitch an idea, maybe we can get him to make the video. So yeah, let's talk about the IC title Elimination Chamber match.
So, who do we have for contestants here? We have
the newly crowned king of the ring.
Oh yes, King Barrett.
King Bad News.
I almost want to say King Booker every time.
Oh yeah, King. I like King Booker.
With Carmelo.
With a little accent and like doing pinky thing.
I love
it. So the newly crowned king of the ring will be in the ring with a former IC title champion, Dolph Ziggler. Former champion R-Truth, the dark horse of this race. I hope he wins. I really do.
That's racist, man.
That wasn't meant to be. No, I actually do like R-Truth a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when you talk about spiders or Little Jimmy.
Yeah.
Who, if you bring Little Jimmy back, there's money in this guy. And he's near the end of his career, so...
Do you remember when he dressed up like a Civil War?
Oh, great stuff. Him, Christian, all those guys, whenever they do bits, great. When he was doing that capital punishment, what happened to that pay-per-view, I don't know. Maybe it'll come back in 2 weeks. We're like, in Washington, it's capital punishment on the WWE Network.
Well, it's June 3rd. I guess it's good.
We need a pay-per-view this Sunday. NBA championships are on until another week, so we got time. King Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth. We got...
Maybe Rusev, if he's...
They're saying he's in a leg brace thing, and I've seen pictures of him in a wheelchair. Yeah. I don't think you can let that guy go. I think they just because he's a villain. I don't think they beat him up. I think they just announced he was injured on Raw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or SmackDown.
Unless they're going completely kayfabe and trying to go old school heel, where he's got the he's tricking everyone. He's gonna jump in and.
Or he decides these Americans in this crowd, I can't remember where it's taking place from, but he goes, you guys are not worth it. I don't even want your championship. Mm-hmm. Something like that to get him heel heat, and he goes away for a while, for a few weeks. There's rumors that Bray Wyatt or something like that might replace him. I mean, you have the freshly back in the WWE Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
He's always been there. He's just not in matches.
Woo.
And so we have Barrett, Dolph Ziggler, R-Truth, Rusev maybe, or Bray Wyatt, Barrett, and Ryback. Feed him more.
Feed him more.
Off of those names, off the contestants, and also the mystery now adds of it's the first ever IC title. Yeah. There's no champion right now. Anyone can win it. How do you feel about all this? I mean, again, WrestleMania, we had a match to crown a champion, and you knew Barrett wasn't walking away champion, so you knew they were getting a new champion, and so they had all these plans with Bryan. He got hurt. Where do you stand with all this, and who do you predict will win this match?
The way I see it right now, if Rusev is legitimately injured, I feel really bad for. I feel bad for him because he's right in a good groove of storyline right now, but I really feel bad for Lana because I don't know where she's going without a storyline with.
I think they have plans for her. I just think it was a few weeks or a month away. Yeah. So now it kind of it could hinder it, or they might hold off a tiny bit. But I think they see a lot of dollar signs in her. So I think she's gonna be okay. Just right now, it sucks,
I know but they were transitioning her right in the middle, and it just it wouldn't make sense to have her go drastically to one end or the other. She's kind of in the middle right now. So with that in mind, I feel bad for him, but if it means that somebody like Bray Wyatt can come in, I think it's a really great opportunity for Wyatt. And if he does get in there, I'm going to say, and not that it's actually going to happen, but I would very much like Wyatt to win.
Undertaker, I'm the IC champion.
It's a new face of fear.
Let me throw this scenario out to you. If Bray Wyatt is in this match and he loses, was there a point of putting him in this match? Why not put someone who could, like, you know what I mean, one of those surprise NXT guys?
Yeah.
Why not have a, you know, like, Roman's not wrestling. I mean, at the same time, it's the same for him. Why put in a match if you're going to have him lose? I mean, I'd be okay with that, but the WWE wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because my thought is, originally I wasn't okay with this, but they had him beat Dean Ambrose in Raw, but then, like, on SmackDown that week, he got pinned. Yeah. So you're losing a lot of momentum on him. So if you're putting this match, I agree with you, I think he should win. Yeah. But at the same time, if it's not him in it, or if they're having him lose, it's probably going to go to the guy that, like, there's been slight rumors that Sheamus is going to win this match. I don't want him to win it. I think he will. Mm-hmm. At the same time, how do you feel about the other contestants / Sheamus?
Sheamus, I can see them pushing him to win. I don't think he needs it. I think he's good right now just battling it out with some of the smaller guys, like Dolph Ziggler, like...
the zigzag.
You know, yeah, well, I guess... Brian's out right now, but like Neville and things like that. So,
but he can't just keep finding the same two guys.
I know. But I don't think Dolph needs it right now either.
They're not going to give it to Dolph. Unless they're trying to swerve us with all the Barrett losses. Yeah. They're not giving it to him. As much as I'd love R-Truth to win, he's not going to win it. Because I would love to have a Spiders campaign. Yeah. And Little Jimmy and Spiders hashtags all the time would be great. Yeah. So it comes down to 3 guys. It comes down to, well, Rusev's out, so then you have, is it Bray or someone else? They're the wild card. Then you have the, right now, the ideal favorite, or not ideal, Sheamus. And you have Ryback. Those are the 3 favorites, or who have a chance in WWE booking, I think. So off of those guys, what do you...
Ryback... I don't see... He doesn't have a storyline right now.
Like, he doesn't have a story, but at the same time, you can always change that. Yeah. It just takes one night and a couple weeks of booking. You give him the championship and give him the reign that they were going to give Daniel Bryan, or at least a guy defending. You give him that John Cena experience where you're starting to defend every week, showcase the crowd, or you crush people in the IC division. Mm-hmm. You have Ryback defend the title against the Heath Slaters, the Zack Ryders every week on SmackDown. Yeah. So he shows SmackDown, not Raw, you know?
But I was going to say, then it's just another John Cena.
But I'm not saying doing the Invitational, because a champion always has to defend. It's just like John Cena's advertising it to get the title over, and also... So they've been trying for both titles. So I think if you put it on Sheamus, which is the safe thing to do, is it the right thing to do? I don't know. I don't want him to win it. If he wins it, it's good to have a heel champion, but you have Seth Rollins for that. And with the Cena Invitational... Who's to say when he loses it? But with this IC title, if you're trying to hype it up, rather than have it like do the Barrett thing where he wins for 2 weeks and then loses it, I think the go-to guy is either Bray Wyatt as the mystery guy or Ryback.
I think Bray Wyatt.
Feed him title.
Yeah.
Feed me more.
I think Bray needs it a bit more because as like right now, he's just kind of puttering along as just like a rambling crazy man, and like he needs more purpose. And I think
he doesn't have direction. At the same time, they have a chance with just having him appear once in a while, but you do need purpose when he appears.
Yeah, because right now
he's a special attraction if you do it right.
Right now he just keeps coming. It's like, you're a liar and I'm gonna kill you, and it's just like,
not kill you because it's PG era.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna punch you in the face
and I'm gonna leave you on the puddle, Undertaker. Undertaker. I just like saying Undertaker as Bray Wyatt. No, so the only negative to that is, or to this scenario is, Bray Wyatt, if it is him, first off, we don't know for sure, but he wasn't booked in this match at all, so that maybe you take it by chance and go like, maybe we go with him. So do you think he wins only because he wasn't in the scenario to begin with? This was clearly not thought out, like Rusev's injury. Yeah. I'm assuming it's real. I'm going to go off the facts that have been given.
I think it's... WWE's kind of got a tendency to, when something happens like this, or like when somebody just walks out of the company, you know, like they do snap changes on the fly.
Sometimes for the good call, sometimes for the bad.
So I think if they were to throw in Bray, giving them the title would be something that wouldn't be out of character for them.
Mm-hmm. And it would be a good call because
it would be a very good call.
They can right some wrongs, you know.
Yeah.
With that also said, sorry to interrupt you, is Ryback is also, they clearly see something in him, and some of the fans like him and others don't, but at the same time, this is a great chance to say, prove us right, you know what I mean? So, and he was in the storylines, and with everyone thinking it's Sheamus, Ryback's a guy they believe in enough I mean, at the same time, they did that with WrestleMania. They hyped him up, and then he got eliminated, and they didn't mention it, really. So those are the three guys you have. I see long-term potential in the WWE, and that's why I would say those are the guys you go with. At the same time, they may end up just putting Damien Sandow or someone in the match. Or The Miz. Maybe he announces his... Maybe he announces, maybe that's why they're doing Miz TV. I just thought of that now.
You're gonna throw in the Honky Tonk Man?
The original long-reigning IC champ. Yeah. What if, just think of that now, what if Miz announces in Daniel Bryan's segment he's going to take Rusev's spot for America? He plays a good guy or a bad guy. That's what's great about the Miz. Yeah. That's just right out live on the spot, thought out.
You know,
like the WWE, so maybe they go with that, because they're like me, they just think of it.
It would be interesting. I don't know if it's what would be best suited for the show, or I guess the most...
Hashtag must-see TV.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
I can see them doing it.
And Mrs. Dad could be there.
And Mrs. Dad, yeah. But I really want Bray to win, because I don't want to get bored with his character.
Okay, so let's do it so we can move on to pay-per-view. Your final prediction for this Sunday.
I can say Bray.
If he's in the match, if he's not in it, who do you go with? Because if Bray's in it, I agree with you. I think that's the right thing to do, whether they do it or not.
Yeah.
Who's the guy you go with if Bray Wyatt's not in it, and it's not The Miz, and it's some guy who's clearly not going to win?
I'm going to say Sheamus, because he's the only one that would make sense.
Shameful thing. I think overall, I hope we're wrong, but there's a chance it's probably Sheamus, unless they're trying to make guys like us be wrong, and then maybe a Ryback or the mystery guy will win it.
Mrs. Dad.
If Mrs. Dad wins the IC title, all is forgiven. If we can have his video in the background and just get millions of people to watch that video, it's so funny when you send it to me. And then you months later you send it again, I go it's still funny.
Yeah.
It's one of the best WWE things.
Oh yeah.
Divas have a match. Let's quickly talk about that. Paige, Naomi, and the champion, the long reigning champion right now, Nikki. Do you think they're trying to beat AJ's reign first off with her title? She's done a good job and improved, but I think there's only so much storylines they can do, having her go back and forth between being a good guy and a bad girl. That sounded wrong. So I don't see long term. Yeah. I think Paige or Naomi's going to win it soon, just whether it's at this pay-per-view or soon.
I think...
what do you got for us?
See, it's hard to say, because I think they would be best suited having Paige win it.
Because she can go good guy or good girl.
But I also think she's had the title go back and forth between her and AJ enough times where, maybe a little bit more distance between her and the title for a little bit longer might be a good thing.
The chase is always good. At the same time, if you're going to give someone a long reign after Nikki, she's very credible as a threat, as a good, a heel or a good, a face.
Yeah, I think she's going to be the next long-term champion.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think there will be a transitionary champion between them. Whether or not that's Naomi, I don't know.
Well, because I think if Paige wins, she has somewhat of a rivalry with the Bellas, but it's more so now with Naomi, right?
Yeah.
So if they want a face win for Paige, she beats Naomi. So Naomi beats the Bellas in some sort of match.
I can see shenanigans and Tamina comes down and does something without the ref seeing.
She's the wild card, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe she's inserted into the match.
She's the
Maybe she's the replacement for Rusev. Yeah. So if you were to make a prediction for this match, who would you go with?
Just for the sake of I don't see them keeping the belt on Nikki for very much longer.
And I agree with you, but at the same time, I don't know if I see her losing yet. I'm okay with her losing. I feel like they want to make it bigger, and they're not going to do it on a Raw Elimination Chamber is still a big deal, but at the same time, it's a 2-week put together show.
I think if they're going to pull the trigger, they need to just do it.
I think it's going to be now at this pay-per-view or Money in the Bank, and because Money in the Bank you want to hype up a bit more as a big pay-per-view as the number 5 one. I think they might try to save a title change or two for that pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So I think they might save it for then. I could be wrong, and I'm glad to be wrong, because Nikki's good, but I think someone I think Paige is the right direction, or Tamina if you're going to go with a heel monster.
I think I think Naomi's going to take, because it's only a 3-way, right? I think Naomi's going to take it, and eventually Paige is going to win it off her. That's my prediction.
So I think the right move is to put Paige, but I think Nikki will somehow, with help of...
And Brie will be on the outside yelling, Come on, Nikki!
Hashtag Brie mode.
Come on, Nikki!
Don't play my theme song. Okay, so there's... I just don't know if a lot of thought has been put into this angle yet. I think it's kind of like... It's like the Bellas are good guys now, and Naomi's like villain, and she has glowing shoes, and Paige is back.
Yeah.
And she's the fans are still cheering even though they beat up one of their faces.
Yeah.
It's a confusing situation. I hope they rectify it and start pushing things in the right direction where we can care about the storylines, and then we'll be talking about those segments for hours at end. Leading us to the next match, what would you like to talk about? Because we got a couple more big matches. It's a fairly even though for 2 weeks, and maybe they thought about it longer than we have.
Let's throw this one out there. Neville versus Bo Dallas.
That wasn't one of the 3 big matches, but let's get that one over with. I believe this match will be given 6 minutes.
Yeah.
I believe Bo Dallas will not win this match, and I believe that Neville will put on a good showing to a so-so reaction to the crowd. They'll get the match out because no one cares about it that much.
I believe that it's a missed opportunity to have Neville in this match as opposed to be the IC title match.
And maybe he fights twice that night. That's the third option I'm giving you. Well, I guess I give Tamina as well. So that's my 4 options is either The Miz, Bray Wyatt, Tamina, or Neville fights twice that night.
Or Mrs. Dad. 5
options. 5 time. Mrs. Dad. So do we predict anything other than a so-so match with a so-so lukewarm crowd reaction, and then he'll do the red arrows, what it's called? He'll do that, they'll get cheer, and then he'll eventually go into an actual feud. I can't see them having him lose to Bo Dallas right now, so I think we're in for a throwaway match on a thrown together pay-per-view. We're both predicting Neville wins that match, right?
Yes.
All right, so you know what? Okay, let's talk about the first ever. Also, another first ever.
Oh yes,
the first ever tag team Elimination Chamber matches. Where we're like, is it going to be 3 teams each in the pod? How's it going to go? It's actually going to be 6 tag teams, as I held up 5 fingers. But so the big question is, do you have to pin both guys, or it's probably one and done?
I think it's one
and done, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And so our participants are, let's go through it, the defending tag team champs, our team, New Day Rocks, versus their nemesis, I guess now, Cesaro and Tyson Kidd.
Yeah.
We got Los Matadores in there, the wild cards. They're not let's be real. We also have Lucha Dragons.
That bull is running wild.
I heard they're going to get rid of him soon off of that tag team. And where else does he go then? Lucha Dragons.
Yeah.
Los Matadores. The Ascension.
The Ascension,
The fan favorites, The Ascension.
Fresh off a win from last pay-per-view's pre-show.
That's true. They are the wild cards. No one wants them to win.
And primetime players.
And the primetime players who are returning. And had they done it right, had the pay-per-view had more time, and I think, again, a week ago, they were the last team standing.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of potential with this team if done right. They just... When they split them up on SmackDown years ago, I thought that was a mistake.
Yeah.
And I actually saw a lot of money in them as a team.
Yeah.
I can't see them winning this match, but I'm glad they're back together. And if they're saving them for be heels or good guys, I don't know. As much as I like them, I don't think they should win this match for their long-term build. I'm glad they're in the match because I like them. I can't see them winning. I think it comes down to the option that I love, and I hope you agree. The only option I see happening is the people who you're... Is persecuting for being positive, I think was the words they said. I hope they're positively leaving the building as tag team champions. There's no other option that should happen that night.
It would be a travesty otherwise.
It would be a travesty. I think it's one of the best things
WWE. Miscarriage of justice.
Wow, we're watch out, courtrooms in America, we're coming for you. No, I can't see a team in that scenario that is worth killing the momentum of New Day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, New Day definitely has the most, I guess, to gain about having the win. Because right now they're talking about later on in the year breaking up Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
It's going to
happen. So,
I mean,
it doesn't make sense to have them win the titles. Just to give them momentum to split them up.
And they were just champs. And so if they really saw something in them, they would have had them kept it.
Yeah.
But there's something about New Day right now. It's working the crowds, hook, line, and sinker. And guys like you and I who are it's like, I'm fans of good heels or faces. It's just whoever you connect with, and something about New Day. I love the fact that they weren't getting over to go like, screw you, I still like these guys, and I love how now they have the fans booing them, but in a reaction way, a positive reaction way.
Oh, it's great. So I'm going to say New Day as well.
Now, my prediction is this. New Day will either be the 4th or 5th team that enters their match. I think Cesaro and Kid or Lucha Dragons will start the match because they want the crowd hyped into it. Maybe they're both in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
it's not going to start with Los Matadores and the Ascension?
They're not going to do that. That's going to be like the, if you want to pretend that the Ascension has a chance, they'll be the 6th team. What they're going to do is to have the New Day seem like they snuck out of it. They're going to be one of the late teams in it. They'll bring the energy, and the crowd will boo them when they win. So in order to make Cesaro and Kid and or Lucha Dragons, who are the two or primetime players, you have them start early so the crowd gets into them and say they pinned a couple teams, they did good, they just lost. Whereas New Day, to win and still keep the other teams looking good, they come in late in the match, but they win the match. I'm excited to see what these teams deliver because we're giving you a guaranteed 30 plus minutes for sure.
Oh yeah.
Give us an amazing match, and no matter what people say about the Ascension and maybe Los Matadores, the Ascension not so much, but every other guy but those two teams, that team are very gifted athletes.
Yeah.
They're gonna give us even though there's not storylines, doesn't matter. You're there.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna get potentially one of the best Elimination Chamber matches ever.
I think so, and that's
it's exciting for a 2-week pay-per-view. I'm impressed.
That's a good thing because with the with taking it Los Matadores and the Ascension, any other one of those teams I could see winning.
I can see winning, and I think I can see long-term building.
Even the Ascension, if they were to have built them up better when they were coming in.
If they kept that without having them lose and then go away, if they kept them on that momentum where they just beat up old tag teams or whatever, I think they could have. But you know what? There's more in having gifted wrestlers like Cesaro and Kid help build New Day. And also seeing the potential, and Tyson O'Neill won a Father of the Year award, and they were promoting that on Twitter and all that. So they clearly they see something positive, and I'm he's close friends with Batista. These are good things, and Darren Young, there's a lot he's on a lot of platforms, so there's something positive in that team. So just if some other team other than Tyson Kidd or New Day, it would be primetime players. I don't see them winning, but I think New Day is doing something great right now. I love them, and I just I hope they get more time of bragging and making fun of the cities, and I hope that they get the mics going. This is unfair to us, and somehow cheating to win this Elimination Chamber match. But I'm excited. The IC title, even though it's never been defended or it's up for grabs now, it's gonna be a good match. But it's not. We've never seen such people that don't get a lot of mic time or don't get a lot of ring time getting guaranteed 40 minutes or so, and also they're just such gifted athletes that it's the first ever time we're seeing there's potential to see 12 guys or so in an Elimination Chamber cage at the same time.
I'm really curious to see what Kalisto and
that's
what those guys do.
I wouldn't be surprised if they open the match with either the Kids and Cesaro, or they get some of the heels and do some great moves in the first or second team that comes out. So I think we're gonna get some high flying action, and once we get most of the teams in there, it's gonna be an exciting match. And I didn't think I would say that, but it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
So those are the Elimination Chamber matches. We have 2 other big matches that are on a card
that
can be on any card.
Yeah.
And on this one, it really helps sell the pay-per-view.
I think there is. The one that most people are excited for, I think we should talk about last. So I think leading into the next one, I'm going to have to go with Seth Rollins and Ambrose. Talk about that one because I think the next one is going to be bit more anticipated.
I think the match we're going to talk about now, Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE Heavyweight Championship. I try to say it right so WWE can't sue me or put me on a 90-day suspension. I think it will close the show.
I think it'll close the show.
I think it will, and it probably should, unless they have. If it wasn't tag teams, but there's something special with that match. As much as Elimination Chamber should close it on that pay-per-view, I just can't see them on this show. I mean, it is thrown together so they can. It's the same with Hell in a Cell. They let Dean and Seth Rollins close it, and it was a good call.
Yeah.
It was the better of the two, and it made that match feel a little bit more special. Yeah. I do think this match will close the show, though. Seth Rollins versus Dean Ambrose, the wild card, the lunatic fringe. He shakes things up, and it's just there's an instant look, I get why WWE likes Randy Orton and Roman Reigns, and I see dollar signs in that guy when they build him up. Right now technically he's not on the card. I do think he's going to show up on this match, Roman Reigns that is. And with Randy, you give him some weeks off where you can freshen him so get the crowd to cheer when he comes back and RKOs people. This match has two out of nowhere, two very gifted guys. The crowd really likes Dean Ambrose, and it shows with the reaction. It's the same with when Ryback came back again. When you do the right storyline, you get anyone to cheer anyone on that people want to get behind. And same with Dean Ambrose, you give the opportunity, it's there, and the fans are behind it. I see shenanigans, whether it's Kane or whether it's some other crazy thing that happens, but I can't see Seth losing yet. I don't want him to lose yet. I do like Dean Ambrose a lot, and if he weren't in this match, I'd say put him in the IC and give him the title.
Yep.
How do you feel about this match? I think it's going to be a good match.
I think it's going to be a great match. They always...
the rivalry's been there for... Yeah. It's been a 2-year rivalry, whether you know it or not.
They always put on a great match, and I think, as much as I would really like for Dean to get a shot and get a title run, it's not his time yet.
His time will come.
I
believe.
I really think so, but I don't see any way in Seth Rollins losing the title yet, and especially because there were some dates in June, which is the week following.
June right now,
the week following the pay-per-view, where Brock Lesnar has been advertised.
Oh, F5 to the guy he hates more than anybody, Seth Rollins.
What I'm thinking is Seth retains through some kind of shenanigans, and to close the show, Brock Lesnar's music hits, and Seth hightails it out.
I will say, I don't know if it's this pay-per-view. It's the same with the Divas. It's either this pay-per-view or Money in the Bank, which is a pay-per-view they really care about now, I do believe. If it wasn't thrown together, I would say this is the one, but I think Brock, one way or another, will be at Money in the Bank, whether it's advertised or if it's a surprise. So I don't know if it happens yet, but because you can have... And also, you gave Seth Rollins the pedigree. Eventually, Dean Ambrose is going to win, or as long as he stays on the right track with the fans and he doesn't get injured, he's eventually going to win this title, whether it's a short-term run. But... I don't know if Brock will be there, but I do believe Seth will walk out with shenanigans. But we're going to get a good 15 to 20 minute match, I hope.
Yeah.
SummerSlam, they had one of the best, lumberjack matches in a long time, or if ever. And it's going to be a good match. And also, again, they gave Seth the pedigree because he can't do the foot stomp right now, which is the rumor. But you don't give a guy that move unless, because Triple H, whether you like or hate the guy, he's one of the biggest guys in this company. Yeah. He doesn't just give his move to a guy they don't see long-term potential with.
Yeah.
And also there's rumors that maybe they're leading towards Triple H versus Seth Rollins. If they're not going to do The Rock and Rousey versus Steph and Triple H, that's a feud that you can get Triple H to, because he's only going to wrestle once or twice a year at most. Mm-hmm. So you're only going to get him to fight the big guys like Brock, or someone that they see nothing but, or like a Roman or Seth.
Yeah.
So I see Seth Rollins winning in an entertaining match. I hope. His last match with the Fatal 4-Way at Payback was better because Randy's a good wrestler, but their match in the cage, and I don't blame Seth for that. He slows down the pace, and also the storytelling with Kane not as present with this, so I think it actually is a good thing. The Fatal 4-Way was a good match, and they're going to get two guys with this storyline that's been building. And as long as Dean stays in character where he goes crazy, and maybe I hope they don't DQ the match. But, and if it closes the pay-per-view, I don't think they should.
Yeah.
I think Dean's going to put on a great show, though. He's not walking away champion. I think we and most people agree with that.
Yeah, I think so.
And if he does somehow, I don't think people will be mad. At the same time, people will be shocked. But I can't see it happening. Leading us to the match that you believe everyone's the most excited about. He's calling you guys out.
I really think that this kind of came out of left field. Nobody was really expecting it.
So John Cena has this U.S. Invitational tournament, Invitational, I guess, whatever you want to call it. He calls out people. A few weeks ago, a guy from NXT, which you like talking about, and you keep telling me to watch him. We're going to get into that in a second. Comes out. Maybe it's going to be like Sami Zayn, where he's going to accept the challenge and face him.
So, but the difference is this is the current NXT champion, Kevin Owens.
That's my old roommate from college. His name's Kevin Owens.
That's hilarious.
I always go Kevin Owens facing John Cena.
That's hilarious. So there is, this champion versus champion. And actually, this really was strange because it originally was listed as a U.S. title match, which is... And
I had some talks with you and some other people, and I was like, I don't think they're doing a U.S. title match. And when they said champion versus champion, the titles aren't on the line. It's just, champion versus champion.
But like
bragging rights, basically.
Mm-hmm. But like when he first came out on Raw, he said, I'm going to take that title or something along those lines, where he was going to.
Now, did he say? And then you can correct me if I'm wrong, you or them. But did he ever say the U.S. title, or he says I'm going to beat you when I won? If he said I'm going to beat you,
right,
then it's a different story because.
Yeah, well, it was confusing because he came out to answer the call for the Invitational for the title, and he said, "But I'm not going to do it tonight. I'm going to do it on my terms." And then it was announced on Elimination.
Maybe his terms are, I want to beat you first for no title at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I want
later to be announced.
Yeah,
it changes things with the title not being on the line because if Cena's the champ, I don't see they have a couple more months in this Invitational, I think. So I don't think he's losing it until the end of summer at least, because summer is their time where they need a lot of storylines going on. He wouldn't lose it if the title is not on the line, and you have a guy they're hyped up, their last pay-per-view and all that, and it's a great spotlight for him. Then it puts a lot of
So, I mean, really, I'm super excited for this because I've been a big fan of Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen for some time, and just to see him come out against John Cena was I wasn't expecting it, and I was really excited for that. And I think just the fact that the title is no longer on the line, to me, that is a big indication that Kevin Owens might actually come out the victor in this.
And I agree with you, and also because I had a couple scenarios is because I'm going to lightly talk about it, but like Samoa Joe and a couple of other guys that he faced, they could have shenanigans in this match. At the same time, if Kevin Owens to win, they could also build up Cena's next opponent by having someone who hates Cena right now cost him this match. At the same time, as long as they don't really touch Kevin Owens too much, it makes all guys look great. It builds up the next storyline, it gives Owens the victory, and Cena keeps the title, and they have their next match for Money in the Bank, and also they have this guy who's supposed to be this this heel and this brute guy.
Yeah, and they're building him like a tank right now.
Yeah. So for his first match ever, because he beat Sami Zayn, he beat Neville, he beat all these guys like Cena. John Cena, but whereas if Kevin Owens comes in and his first match is on a pay-per-view, great. At the same time he loses, there's a lot of momentum, and he's present champion too. Yeah. So I think the second it was not announced as a title match, I think any favor that you're giving Cena, a lot of goes out. But at the same time, Cena overcomes the odds anytime, anywhere that you want. So that's the hard part of predicting the Cena match.
I wish I had a little towel or something.
Yeah, never give up on John Cena. Unfortunately, on that night, I think you might have to give up on John Cena because Kevin Owens.
I think so, yeah.
Might win this match. Yeah, not the title, though.
No, not for the title. But yeah, I think it's a good indication that Kevin Owens is going to come out the victor, and I think that's going to set up.
It's great storytelling for both leagues, for NXT and WWE.
Yeah, and it draws more attention to NXT, and
exactly.
It's a win-win, really, and I think it's. If they were smart, they would definitely listen to this podcast and give me credit and hire me as creative director.
At Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
And also the fact that John Cena on Raw was saying fight Owens, fight, like he was trying to get the chant for anyone who did like me who doesn't really know them, like the chants that well. I think the fact that he's already saying that to try to get a couple more fans saying that at the pay-per-view, that says a lot right there. And the second thing, the U.S. title was off the line, or so far we think, it says a lot more, and it hypes guys like me who are for the first ever time, we're wondering, should I watch NXT? Yeah. You start to go, who is this guy? And to have him, if he delivers, that's the thing is, there's a big moment for him right now. Yeah. He has to deliver, win or lose, no matter what. Give us a good 15, 20 minutes or whatever. Play the heel great. And get the kids to boo you, and also there's gonna be fans who are clearly cheering him, like NXT. Yeah. Half the crowd's gonna cheer him, the other half there'll be a couple like me who know him but don't really know him. Yeah. And the kids will hate him because it's never give up time.
Well, you watched the Unstoppable
for the first ever time. Yeah. We were gonna get in that too soon, but the first ever pay-per-view of NXT.
Yeah, and just to go through the card, we don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. It was overall it was. I really enjoyed watching it, but it wasn't.
Because you always tell me, you guys are watch NXT, and I was it might actually have been one of the reasons I watched was because of the match with Kevin Owens coming up was okay. I want to see who this guy is, and a couple of the other guys, and it's 2 hours, and they've been having pay-per-view left and right. Why not watch one more? Yeah,
and I really enjoyed it. It was really good, solid wrestling in that pay-per-view. The Enzo Amore, Big Cass, match with the is it Murphy and something. I can't remember.
Those are chants. You should know that.
Yeah,
I don't know who these guys are because I watched.
It's like Taylor and Murphy or something. I honestly,
they're two like blonde guys who look like edgeheads. Those guys.
Yeah.
They honestly look like edgeheads.
Kurt Hawkins.
And Zack Ryder.
Yeah.
P.S. Zack Ryder, you got a spotlight on Raw.
Oh yeah.
Don't get used to it. That's all I'm gonna say.
It's over.
Again, Entourage was.
Your push is gonna die with that the building in Long Island.
They should just have Zack Ryder kill himself off in his Long Island his YouTube show.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to NXT.
Roll himself off off a stage.
Someone like him might actually benefit from going on NXT. You instantly have the fans behind you.
Yep.
And you get your wrestling skills and mic skills back up. But anyways, so the tag team match,
the tag team match, I really enjoyed. I thought, I mean, you said it was a little boring, but having known the storyline a bit going in
always helps.
I was
You're invested.
I was invested more into it, and like I said, I'm a big fan of Enzo Amore, Big Cass. I think if it wasn't for the main event, I think that would have stolen the show for me, with a very close second to the NXT Women's Championship with Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch.
Yeah, and
I thought that was a really good match.
And we've always discussed this on the show and just outside in general. That the Divas given storyline and time.
Yeah.
And same with any wrestler. Same with the Zack Ryder's and Damien Sandow's, I was even using an example.
Yeah.
You give them time, they can give you matches like that, and she's had the belt for a while, and the fans she's a heel and a good guy. She's kind of in that in between. Where
she's a heel, but people like her because she's good.
Yeah, exactly. So it's but you get invested in these matches, and I thought overall it was a solid match. I mean, for me, not being invested in any storyline, I still thought it was pretty good. And overall, a pretty it wasn't a bad show. For being the first ever one and everyone talks about it, was it as good as that? It's 11 out of 10 kind of pay-per-view. Everyone kind of hypes those NXT.
Yeah.
It was a good show, and I didn't hate it, and I might watch them again.
Yeah. The Finn Balor match was.
Again, for a while, I've been saying to you,
Baylor,
I always thought it was Finn Balor, which is.
Yeah.
Can I just say, and I don't know if you've read, if you know who this person is, but do you know the band Imagine Dragons?
Yes, I'm aware.
He looks exactly like the lead singer of that band. So. They also had the theme song for Payback, so I'm thinking there's something there right there.
The old switcheroo.
I will say this, watching the show and not knowing much, Finn Balor, not Baylor, who looks like the guy from Imagine Dragons, Radioactive, good song. I think Finn Balor and Kevin Owens, watching that, I was like, you see dollar signs.
Yeah.
And I get it, WWE, and if they play the cards right, they've never had other than Undertaker, and Bray Wyatt, they're trying, they haven't had a guy where it can be that. Even Boogeyman, but do it in a way where it's a good guy. He's agile and all that. There's something there with that guy.
Yeah.
He's got a great look. He's physical. He can and he's fast.
Yeah.
And he's got that not phenom, but he's got that wild card of what are they gonna do? The X factor. And same with Kevin Owens as and then next maybe Brock Lesnar-ish guy.
Yeah, it's a really interesting landscape.
And he's Canadian
on there right
too.
Now. Yeah, Montreal.
Yeah. So was Sami Zayn, and I gotta say, watching the first ever pay-per-view, the match was okay, but then I felt they'll give you the story of the guy who comes out after, but it was kind of forgotten because of someone else, but not just that, but the match was okay, but it wasn't really a match. It was more of a storyline.
That's what had happened with the previous pay-per-view is because Sami Zayn was the champion.
He never got pinned, but he just kind of
And that was the first high-profile match with Kevin Owens. Where they stopped the match because he was just beaten up too much, and I think they're continuing along that storyline where he's just beating his opponents to the point where they can't continue, which is I think.
But you gotta watch how many times you go to the well. You go 2 times.
I don't think they're gonna do that very much anymore because I think they had their 2 matches together. There'll be more down the line because there is definitely a past with those 2 individuals. And
also with the Raw stuff, Sami Zayn I think is clearly injured, so I think that's fine. You get to write him off, let him heal, and and then come back to NXT for a couple more months before he debuts on Raw.
Yeah, and I mean they have a fresh couple months of program with Kevin Owens and the man who made a surprise entrance at the end of the pay-per-view, and that is the hottest free agent in all of pro wrestling, and that is Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe.
Appeared at TNA Unstoppable. Oh wow.
TNA and stuff.
First off, do they exist? There's a lot of stuff going. Are they going to make it to the end of the year? We'll find out.
We'll see.
Sorry, so Samoa Joe shows up at NXT Unstoppable. Yep. You, as a usual fan of NXT, you knew he was coming soon, but did you expect him that night?
I wasn't expecting him at all. I knew that there were talks.
But until it's official, or you really hear it, or you see a picture of him at Stanford, Connecticut.
And they kept it pretty quiet too, I think. So when he came out, everyone just was freaking out, and because a lot of the crowd there, they're very
so because I've only seen a little bit of TNA. The song that he came out to, is that his TNA song at all?
It's close.
Just because they played a song and half the crowd they got excited, but it's like until I saw him, I didn't know who it was. I was like I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And not knowing anyone from NXT, I'm kind of like, it could be anybody.
Yeah. Well,
and then so did you know it was him when you heard the music?
When I heard the music, yeah, because his music in TNA was just kind of like a and it's sort of did a weird I don't know.
So it was similar. I guess.
It's similar, yeah.
So I get why the crowd got hyped there. Just for me, I was until I saw him, I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Yeah.
The match is still going on, I think.
Yeah, and I probably close to, I guess it was around 2003 or so when I started watching TNA. He was a big part of the reason why I was really into that product for
whereas
before.
WWE likes to call it, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that time that Sting was unemployed.
Yeah. Christian, Booker T, Kevin Nash.
So I mean, he's got a lot of great potential in WWE, and I think they know that, and I think they're going to use him very well. I think using him through NXT, same as Owens and Finn Balor and Sami Zayn, who have 10 plus years experience. It's great to have them down there in NXT to get them used to the system first, and also to get WWE used to them, and to kind of figure out something for them. Because I think the worst thing that they could do with these guys coming in right now is to bring them in, have a quick 2-month program, and then just not know what to do with them, and then just get. So it's good to see them have
and that's an example of people like the Zack Ryders and Damian Sandows. They don't know what to do once
Brodus Clay. Yeah,
somebody call my mama. Sorry, continue.
Now he's in TNA. Or no, is he in TNA? I think he is.
If it's in TNA, is it really happening?
Yeah.
No offense. If you're a fan,
if you're a TNA wrestler and you fall over in the woods, did it happen?
You're still dead.
Yeah.
But no, it's the thing about NXT is there's a lot of opportunities to fix some things before they go to the big show, or it's for a while I think people like Justin Gabriel's they go back before he was released, but or requested to, he didn't get released, he asked for his release. But those are the guys who are you know what, you got no storyline, let me go back there. It's a great platform. At the same time, someone like Joe can go there for 2 months, he can. But the younger guys, I think, let's work out the Adam Roses or whatever you want, Leo or whatever he's called. But someone like Samoa Joe can stay there for the summer, and then the fall, or if they have plans for Raw, they can have him come out. Because once he's on Raw, he's a known commodity. The crowd will cheer for him, but at the same time, he could get lost in the shuffle quick. So this is the smarter direction for him. I know people weren't sure, but the second you see him talk head to face with Kevin Owens, it's gonna be a good program.
I think it's gonna be great. So I'm really excited for that. Now last week we did do a preview for Payback, and I know we don't have a whole lot of time right now.
I will just say this because I think we're running low on time. It was a surprisingly watchable show.
Yeah.
Good matches. The Fatal 4-Way was good. The I Quit match was pretty good. I didn't the ending was predictable, and it was as you would want to say, it was a very finish.
Well, actually, if I may.
You may not.
I have notes here. In the interest of time, I will just read these notes, and it'll give you an idea of the matches and my thoughts to it. So here we have.
On your mark, get set, Payback.
We have the pre-show with Axelmania and Mandow. Didn't watch it. Heard it was bad.
We predicted Axelmania would win.
Would win because it would make sense to not bury them after elevating them for.
And also, Ascension just kind of came back and they were losing left and right. Yep. They Ascension won. Guess what? Pre-show's over, probably, right?
Yeah. Well, no. Because here you have R-Truth and Stardust, to which I wrote unaware. I had no idea it even happened.
Everyone was unaware, unless at the last minute before it came on. Like, when the match happened, I was like, what? Is Stardust coming out to talk? Or R-Truth, I thought he was coming to hype the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, and here comes Stardust. Oh, they're fighting.
Yeah, this is actually
R-Truth wins, which is probably why he's in the Elimination Chamber match. Let's call it a qualifier match for the Elimination Chamber.
So then we got into the actual show. We had Sheamus versus Dolph. I wrote here cheeky, because last week we made the prediction that during the match, Dolph Ziggler would have a cheeky way of making Sheamus kiss his arse.
And he still lost like we thought.
And he totally did, and he did lose. And then Dolph gets bloody, because he cracked his head open or something on that.
I think it was a headbutt,
That's the second person that's happened to, because Daniel Bryan did the same thing, where he headbutted Sheamus, and he got split open.
Sheamus, Ryback, and a couple guys are the guys that are always like,
they're stiff, yeah.
Maybe it's because they're stiff, but like, it's like, at a certain point, it's, okay, hey, things happen, but at a certain point, if it's always that person, then you have to start thinking, is this person worth...
He's up there, Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah. I loved Ahmed Johnson as a kid, so you don't know these things.
Yeah.
But is he worth injuring a Roman to them?
Yeah.
So you gotta watch out.
And then we have here the tag team match between New Day and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Two out of three falls.
We predicted that...
New Day rocks.
New Day would win, and Xavier Woods would somehow join the fray. The way he joined it, though, he just sort of rolled in, and I have here in brackets predicted Xavier joining in brackets racist, because
well, the ref was
because like he
and they New Day predicted it storyline wise.
He rolled in, got the cover, rolled out, and like it obviously wasn't Kofi. Like,
can I just say,
is this another black dude in the ring?
Can I just say how, I mean, it'd be funny but also like terrible if Xavier or Kofi, if whoever's not in the match, takes over for Big E and the ref still says it's them. That'll be so terrible. But like, you gotta laugh at that. Just how like they're basically going, they're all the same. That's terrible. But like, with jokes aside, that was, in my opinion, the match of the night.
Yeah. I really think so. I
mean, they didn't have a lot of storyline behind it, whereas the other matches, the Cena and the Fatal 4-Way did. This match had, for the last 9 minutes or so, electrifying.
It was...
Hashtag The Rock.
Yeah.
Hashtag hands on the cement in LA, a.k.a. he got a star on the Walk of Fame.
Oh, there you go.
Good for you, The Rock. Yeah, come on our show.
Dwayne, Mr. The Rock Johnson.
Come talk about San Andreas, which opens this weekend. Continue on Payback.
All right, and here we go. Wyatt versus Ryback. Now,
next. Just get this one over.
I said went pee and it was over, because that is exactly what happened.
Did you take? It wasn't that short. How long's your pee?
It was like,
that's a long ass pee.
It was like,
sorry for swearing, Mom. People watching.
It was about 5 minutes in, and I was like, you know what, I had a couple wobbly pops, so I was just like, I'm gonna need to use the restroom, and I in no way thought that it would just be over, because I was thinking the Wyatt Ryback match was gonna be.
I predicted this match wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, I thought it was easily gonna be like a 10-15 minute match. Nope. But yeah, no, I went to the washroom, came out, and Ryback lost, and somehow just.
And now he's in the Elimination Chamber. The other guy might be. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
There was like a couple of decent spots in there where he like hurt his ribs and like that looked legit, and I believe it is legit.
Yeah.
Ouch. Same with the match.
So you got what else John Cena Rusev.
John Cena overcame the odds. Hashtag towel never give up.
And I have written down here Umaga finish.
That's what.
Because that's the same finish from the Umaga I Quit match. I don't care what anyone
Which is actually one of my favorite scenes.
It was a great match. Great
for a match that like. Especially since Umaga was no longer undefeated at the time, and it was a Rumble. You're like, oh, it's a throwaway Rumble match. It was a surprisingly nice surprise, that match.
Oh, it was great.
Check it on the WWE Network, which is showing the Elimination pay-per-view. Yeah. Anything else happened on that pay-per-view before we call it a show?
Divas match. It happened. And moving along. Neville and Barrett. There's a count-out. Seemed lame. Did not help either person. Which I think you'll have to agree with. It was such a stupid way.
And then they had him do that Red Arrow thing. So they're like, oh, the crowd will care. You're like, no, they're not invested in this at all.
Yeah.
And so don't watch out what you do with Neville, because you can do this a couple times. If you do it too much, they're gonna start going. He's as exhilarating as he is. He's going to become one of those guys that the Dolph Ziggler's are like for a while, where Ziggler, they know he's a great wrestler, but they don't give you storylines for a while.
They just need to get somebody else
direction
on his, like somebody that can work well with him. He had some great matches with Sami Zayn, so I think once Zayn comes up, I think he'll be in a much better position.
Okay.
So now WWE.
So that was the co-main event, you could say. I guess.
Yeah, I think so.
A DQ finish.
Yeah.
Or a count finish. Yeah.
So then we got the championship match here.
Fatal 4.
There's good spots, a Shield tease, which I thought was really well done.
Oh, Seth, they did great, but Seth doing that arms around thing, and for a second when fist in, it just, he played it and he didn't do it in a line way. His character was I'm so happy we're doing it together for a moment. It was a great moment for the crowd.
Oh, it was
amazing.
They
might do it, but I didn't think they would actually do the full thing.
Yeah.
And then the crowd chanting because they didn't break the table on Seth.
Yeah.
But just that moment where he looked and he realized he's in trouble, and then eventually they put him through a table. Eventually.
Yeah. Even Ambrose's reaction to where he's laughing and then just stone.
Yeah, it's it's switched and it was great, and then he looked at Rowan too, and then and then they beat him up. It was great stuff. They put him through a table with Kane eventually. It took 2 breaks.
Yeah. And this is where we saw also that Seth was bestowed upon him the pedigree as a finisher. So pedigree for the win was great. And that's the end of my notes.
Those are your notes?
Those are my notes that I wrote on the subway to get here. Talking points of the pay-per-view.
How do you feel about I guess since we just do it, we'll just quickly, the pedigree as his finisher now?
I think it's
because I saw an interview now because they asked him about the curb stomp. He said, for now it's gone. It might be gone forever. It might be the last time you saw it at WrestleMania. For now, the finisher is the pedigree.
I think
towards the Triple H feud, or is this his move now?
It's okay for now, while he's the authority stooge, but it's not a forever thing.
You know what I honestly thought it was the finisher that once they took away that because of the concussions things, they couldn't do the
curb stomp.
Curb stomp, they couldn't do that. So they had this other almost similar to Dean Ambrose's finisher slightly.
Yeah,
but there was a name to it, but it just it's especially as your main event, you're a champ. That move I went. Was that a finisher?
It wasn't
a finisher. Basically.
It looked like somebody trying to do a DDT but falling.
Yeah, it just it wasn't very flashy. It didn't look like a finisher. So what way to in a non-stopper well, what do we give him? Well, we got to go out there tonight. Let's give him the pedigree.
Yeah, I think
it's never been happened before where any way he won with it.
It's a good Band-Aid fix for right now while he needs a finisher, and until he finds something else that works for him, which. I think eventually he will debut.
And he's very capable, so he's more high flying, which sucks because he could do that splash he did on Lesnar at the Rumble.
Yeah.
That 1, 2, 3. Yeah. He's still the champ. I'm cool with that.
Even I don't know. Even if he does something similar,
he should do the F5. So then when he comes back at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam or one of those things, it's oh shit, he thinks he's free of Brock Lesnar.
Oh man, but even when Jericho came back and he had the code breaker, because he needed, an impact finisher or whatever. Yeah. Something like that would even be because he's all about the kicks and flippy stuff and whatnot. So if he does a variation of, something like a code breaker or something, that would work because it's not, driving somebody's head into it's a lot more controlled. So
if it wasn't Triple H's move, if it was just a move in general, the way he does it. But because it's Triple H's move, there's a big thing.
Yeah.
What do you guys think on that? Do you think what move would you give him? And also, who do you guys got at Elimination Chamber? And such like that. Are we in for a good show that was built for 2 weeks? I think they have great matches.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be a 6 or 7 card at most, good match show.
Yeah.
What is it gonna be great? I'd love to see it. You know what I mean? And if I were ever gonna buy the network, this is a great card to get me for free too for the last few days.
Yeah.
So let us know what you're thinking on that card.
And please be sure to subscribe, rate, review.
We are on iTunes.
We are on the
YouTube
as well, so you can...
and we always put our links up on our Twitter page, which is...
at Vintage Podcast.
And I'm at the Lindsay Lewis.
I am at Kevin Harron.
So feel free to reach us on any of those methods.
Absolutely. And check back in another week for whatever other random WWE pay-per-view they're just going to throw at us next week.
Oh, I can't wait for the returning of Backlash. Capital Punishment.
Yeah.
That was our thing.
Yeah, and Cyber Sunday, we'll throw that one in there. And
Cyber Thursday maybe, or
Cyber
Wednesday.
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday they do the NXTs, or is it Wednesdays? Cyber Wednesday. So they're like, we're filling into the next NXT thing. And also, I can't wait for the cast of Entourage to return and feud with John Cena. So, it's happening, or it should happen, I should say.
So until the next pay-per-view in roughly 8 days, we are Vintage Podcast. Have yourselves a great night.
Thanks for watching and listening, guys. New Day rocks. I'm still going to say it.